You will begin your procedure by preparing an ice bath in which you will have distilled water, about 30 milliliters, and about 30 milliliters of 6 molar hydrochloric acid. Weigh out about 5 grams of ammonium chloride. Then add the ammonium chloride to a 125 milliliter flask and add 30 milliliters of concentrated ammonium hydroxide. Add a stir bar to the flask and then get the stir bar going. You'll need to put it on the lowest setting, and you may need to adjust it in order to get the spin to work properly.
Your directions call for a stoichiometric amount of powdered cobalt chloride. Now we can see from this that we have tiny little crystals in there. Those are the darker, shinier forms. So this isn't powdered. So what we're going to want to do is grind this mixture with a mortar and pestle.
While the ammonium mixture is stirring, you are going to need to add your powdered cobalt chloride to the mixture just a little bit at a time. Make a note of the color change, remembering that it started out as a purple compound. You may want to take a picture of this so that you have a record of what it looks like. Next, you're going to add your 30% hydrogen peroxide. You will be using a pipette to add it just a few drops at a time, so you'll add it dropwise. Again, make sure that you're making note of the color change as you add the peroxide. This step will be oxidizing the cobalt from the +2 state to the +3 state. After you have added the hydrogen peroxide, you will notice that the flask is quite warm because this is an exothermic reaction. Before moving on, check the reaction for signs of reaction like bubbling or color change. Since this has stopped reacting, we're going to add the hydrochloric acid. This is the concentrated hydrochloric acid, and we'll add 30 milliliters, and we'll do this a little bit at a time. It doesn't need to be dropwise, however. So just small portions are added at one time. Now you'll notice we're forming a white smoke here. Our mixture has ammonia in it, and the ammonia is going to combine with the chloride from the hydrochloric acid to form ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride was one of the original reagents that we had in the flask. While you need not go dropwise when adding the hydrochloric acid, you don't want to add it all at once, so use the violence of the reaction to let you know when to stop adding HCl. So if it's foaming up too much or becomes too vigorous, just hold off and wait to add the next bit. Notice that we're also getting a color change with this reaction. It's moving away from the dark brown color to more of a red color. Once you've added all the hydrochloric acid, you're going to turn on the heat and try to keep the temperature at about 85 degrees. You can monitor this with a digital thermometer. Just make sure that you don't stick it in all the way or it will knock against the stir bar.
Once you've allowed your mixture to cool to room temperature, you're going to filter it using a centered glass funnel because some of the crystals will be very fine. And you're going to have washes of ice cold water and ice cold hydrochloric acid. So this is a chemical that is more soluble at higher temperatures than at lower temperatures.
Save your product, allowing it to dry so that you can work it up next week.